batteries off of it's on the, yeah.
So it's got lights to make it home.
Well, Steve's getting ready to leave. I tell you, for a 350 small cam, that thing's stout. It surprised the crap out of me. Guys, it's starting to wind down. It's Christmas Day, and we are finally about done. We got any soup left?
Oh, we got tons left.
How many bags did you get? Like 18 bags. 18 1-gallon bags, so 18 gallons of He loves that truck, man. We're getting ready to go home and finish our Christmas up. Brax, you wore out?
No.
Hey, we had a nice show. I mean, I can't believe there's this many trucks out here. Honestly, I didn't think there'd even be this many. Heck yeah, man. It was a good time. We had a blast. Had a lot of stories. I didn't want to video all these drivers that come over here. It just wasn't respectful. They didn't. A lot of them didn't even know who we were, so. But they all got a nice hot meal. Everybody's back to their truck going to sleep. A lot of them's got to deliver on Monday, and we're going to head back to the house. It was successful. I got the Supra and my lights ain't working. You driving the Freightliner home? All right. Be careful. She's already loose. What's up, guys? We just got back home from our little Christmas adventure with the drivers out on the road, and I'm going to finish today's video off with a conversation with you guys over truck driving. And it's been something that's been coming up in the comments. It's something that's been in my emails. It's something that's been, it was asked actually 2 or 3 times today by other drivers what my opinion was on it, on the crash in Lakewood, Colorado. I've been over there a lot of times. I used to deliver to Denver all the time, pulling boats over there. And I know that stretch of road very, 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 very well. All right, that's a dangerous road if you don't know what you're doing, especially with no experience. And what's crazy is you usually go through school in 3 weeks and you get put with a trainer that's probably only been out there for 3 or 4 months. And that's your trainer. And 9 times out of 10, they're sending you out west. They want to send you out west as much as possible, there and back, as fast as that truck can go, team it, and they are going to make as much money off you as they can. At that point in time, you're a number. All right. From the looks of what truck he was in, probably not the situation. He was in a Columbia. It looked like kind of like the trucks I run. And most fleets nowadays have newer trucks. That truck was probably in the, early 2000s. But, to me, that's a great truck. But he probably went through school. Some company put him on and stuck him out there pulling 80,000 pounds of lumber over through the mountains. And that's just a recipe for disaster. I don't care who you are, what you say. Without experience, if you don't know brakes and what they can do, if you haven't experienced it, you don't fly off them mountains. No matter what, you get down in a low gear, you creep off those mountains and you take your time. And if you watch my videos on me going off a mountain, and there's many on my channel, you can go back and look at them and see how I go off a mountain. 9 times out of 10, it's under the speed that you're supposed to go down on. And people can honk their horns, get mad at me, whatever they want to do. Guys, I was once in this guy's shoes. I didn't have a crash. I was very, very close to it. I almost took out a family, maybe multiple. And it's actually happened to me twice, but only once on a mountain. I was coming off Mont Eagle Mountain, fully loaded. A state trooper had a truck pulled over at the bottom of the mountain. And you know what happens when a state trooper pulls somebody over on the interstate? Everybody else pretty much bows up and stops. Nobody knows how to handle traffic the correct way. Nobody will get over and just keep flowing like they're supposed to. So it gets all clustered and they bow up and stop. Well, at the top of Mont Eagle Mountain, you have a brake check station or a brake check pull off where nobody usually checks their brakes. So you pull off there and you got to wait for a red light and it lets you go on down the hill after you check your brakes, supposedly. Which I always do. No matter what, I get out. I take my 9/16 wrench, get out. I make sure my brakes are adjusted properly just because of this incident. I was going down Mont Eagle, and at this time, I took pride in how I could come off a mountain. Knew exactly when to brake. Knew exactly what Jake braked, when and not what to use. And I would take them mountains. I just didn't care. I'd roll off them mountains, 80, 90,000 pounds, didn't give a crap. And I got to the bottom of this mountain, and guys, it scared the living life out of me. And thank God I was by myself. None of the kids were with me. And I had to get on the brakes so hard. I pushed the pedal plumb, just maxed the plunger out as far as it would go. And that Peterbilt. And in a 379 Pete, your pedal goes down instead of like the truck he was in. It would come from the top and go back against the floor. This goes straight down. You just put your foot on it and push straight down against the floor. And it was on the floor. It was plumb maxed out as hard as it'd go. I was loaded so heavy, the brakes wouldn't lock up. The tires wouldn't lock up. That truck and trailer at that point in time was a deadly weapon. All right. Thank God I got past the state trooper in the truck that was pulled over and got over on the shoulder, and it took me a good 150 yards to get slowed down and stopped. But I barely missed this van. They, luckily, thank the Lord, I pray about it all the time, seen me coming. Whoever was driving this van seen me coming, and they pulled up to the left. And I went to the right, and I got over on the shoulder, and that's when I slowed down. But that scared me so bad, that changed my whole outlook on coming off mountains, on brakes, on safety, on everything. I completely went from coming off the mountains as fast as I could come off of them to I usually come off the speed limit, whatever it says it needs to be, or 5 miles an hour under. So that's why I go slow off the mountains. And this guy here, it sucks. The next time it happened, I was coming from Virginia and coming up 81, and traffic had just stopped. This guy rear-ended somebody, and they just bowed up and stopped. They was off the side of the road and everything, and people just wanted to rubberneck and see what was going on. They was over there arguing. And they just bowed up and stopped in the middle of the road. And here I come, 80,000 pounds. It wasn't, just been up all night. And it was the next morning, about time for me to stop and take a nap. And they were stopped. The sun was in my eyes, and I come up on them, and I'm talking, had 50 yards to get that truck stopped. 70 mile an hour, And I got on the brakes, and within 3 seconds, guys, them brakes are smoked. They crystallized. And both times my brakes went spongy. Excuse me. So when your brakes go spongy, that's a bad, bad feeling. And luckily, mine went spongy as the truck was pretty much stopped. And, brake fading, I brake faded both times. That's where you get on your brakes, let off. Get on your brakes, let off. Get on your brakes, let off. And, that's supposed to help. But if you're in a situation like that, you don't have time. And especially with him in a Florida trucking school. All right, that's the big thing now. That's the big money maker right now is these Florida trucking schools, because there's so many foreigners that are going through these things. You ain't even got to know English. You just go in there, and in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you got your CDL. They'll put you out on the road, and they will help you pass your test. They got a third-party guy that comes in, and that's their job. They make sure you pass, whether you need to be out there or not. And then you go get in the truck with somebody and you train for a couple months, or not even a couple, I think it's like 3 or 4 weeks, and you get your own truck. Well, with me, it's 6 months with me. You have to ride with me or one of my guys for 6 months if I take you completely fresh. And you will not go out on the road until I know you can handle every trailer that I've got, every load that I've got, load every load, unload every load. Any terrain, it don't matter. If you cannot handle it, you will not be going out in one of my trucks, period. You will not go put somebody else's life in jeopardy. So he's coming off the mountain. He sets his, as soon as he loses his gear. All right. And then I'm sure as soon as he got on his brakes, they probably went spongy. And when they went spongy, he pulled his emergency brake. All right. That was his biggest mistake right there, hands down. You would think that emergency brake's going to stop you, not going that fast. All right. In that situation, yeah, you do need to fade your brakes. All right. You need to get slowed down. You need to at least let them cool off for a couple seconds. Get back on them. Let them cool off. Get back on them. Keep the truck down to a safe speed. That's where he could have probably saved his life. Or not his life, but their lives. The 4 people that died in Lakewood. If he would have just stayed off that emergency brake, which is all it is a parking brake, and you've got usually 2 axles. You got one on the truck, usually on the drives, probably the front drive, that has spring brakes, and then the rest of them are usually service brakes, which is, I call them pancakes. You got 30-30 chambers, and then you got just a regular 30 chamber, and the 30 is like I call it a pancake, and all it is you put air to it and it mashes your brakes. All right, the 30-30, you put air to it from your tractor valve and it releases your parking brake. That's your parking brake, that one axle usually. All right, and when there's no air on that spring brake, it automatically sets the brakes, and it's all that spring pressure just pushes on them pads as hard as they can go against your drum, and that's your parking brake. All right, usually the trailer has an axle of it, and the truck has an axle of it. And sometimes you'll have all 4 wheels will have spring brakes. But 9 times out of 10, you just got one axle on the truck, one axle on the trailer. So that axle on the truck and the trailer, say he just had 2 axles with them instead of 4. As soon as he set that parking brake, those springs was pushing on them brake pads as hard as they could push on them. And with that much speed, and you force on them pads that hard, there's no way they're not going to just go metal to metal. They're going to either catch on fire, they're going to get so hot they're going to catch on fire and crystallize, or they're just going to go to their plumb metal, where he could have just faded them out going down the hill and probably could have stayed at a safer speed. And hope, I think he could have kept from killing everybody. And that would have been the proper way to do it, and that's the way I would have trained my guys to come off that hill in that situation. Because if you hit a truck runoff, guys, the company is going to pay out the butt, period. You or your company. Depends on if you own the truck or if the company owns the truck. And they teach this in school, so this is in your brain. Every time you go off that hill, this is in your brain. And to me, if you hit a truck runoff, it ruins your career, period. You come off the hill, you hit that truck runoff, it's a big black X on your CSA score. All right. And your MVR, when you go to get a job, it's going to say reckless endangerment, loss of control of vehicle, speeding, all that crap is going to be on your MVR. It's going to be on your CSA score as the company, which is your safety score. And it ain't no $2,500, $4,000 to come out of one of those pits. It's $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 to get your truck pulled out of one of those pits. Then you have to pay to have it fixed back to the DOT. And then whatever damaged your truck and trailer, blah, blah, blah. All that it's an expensive mess. It's a black X in your book, on the company's book. And it's a career ruiner, period. You hit that runoff, it's bad. All right, so then they drill that into your brain in truck driving school, and when you go hire on to a company, they tell you flat out, whatever you got to do to miss that ramp, miss it. And I don't know if that was a situation with him or if he really just didn't, I think he freaked out and didn't know what to do. He was flowing with traffic because most people run down through there at 80 anyway. And I'm guessing he didn't think there was going to be stop traffic in Lakewood, and he could have coasted it out. Well, not the situation. It turned out to be much worse and ruined his life, ruined 4 other people's lives and families. But my honest opinion, and guys, don't take this the wrong way. Please don't. The guy's not a killer. The guy didn't deserve 110 years in prison. He is not a killer. It's like, if you've seen him out in public on camera, anytime I've seen him since that wreck, even right after he wrecked, he was crying his eyes out. He knew he just killed people. He knew whatever the outcome of this accident was horrible. I don't think the guy was a bad person. I think he didn't have the experience he needed. He got put out there. He was doing his job. And what do you do? If you got an opportunity to go out and do a job like that and make money, most people go and do it. And he just didn't have the talent to come off that. He ran out of talent and didn't know what to do. And if he'd hit that ramp, that one ramp that it showed in the video that he missed, the first one, it goes with the road. Like it curves around the road, but you're on the outside of the road. So at that speed, with that weight, if you took that curve, you're going to flip off that mountain. I don't care what they say. You took the guardrail out, you'd have flipped off the mountain. That's too much weight, too fast. You can't take a runoff ramp in a curve and not flip. All right, the second runoffs, yeah, he should have hit that thing. It's an uphill. And, it'd have probably ruined his career. It'd have probably messed a lot of things up for him and the company and the truck. And, this industry, guys, is not... The thing about the trucking industry is you're not making a bunch of money, especially hauling lumber, pulling that flatbed. All right, you're just making it. All right, and if, say, that's him and his friend's truck, or he was close to the company, a small company, more than likely they're running on, week to week. He wrecks that truck, that put the whole company out. You don't just go out and buy another truck. And most of the time you just got liability insurance because the insurance is so damn high. You can't afford to keep full coverage just to go out and get another truck. So there's no telling what the situation is, period. No telling. Regardless, 4 people lost their lives. He ruined his. He's going to prison for 110 years, which I think is nonsense. Maybe, a couple years. I don't even think prison would have been necessary. I think enough punishment for him is what he done to those 4 people and those families. And, it's sad. It really is. That's my opinion. Rapists, killers, if you're a criminal, you deserve to be in prison. It is an accident. Flat out, it was an accident. The guy did not want to kill those people. But everybody wanted to know my outlook on it, what I thought about it, and wanted me to explain the way I would have done it with my company, my guys. And I would have gave them a lot better training. And in that situation, You know, when we go down mountains like that, when they're in training, I show them what can happen. I actually put them to the test in snow. I make sure they know how to handle a jackknife and, you know, brake failure. I make sure they know how to handle that. I make sure they know how to come off mountains safely without being stupid. It's all in training, and that's where we're at today. Truck driving has become a money pit for the government and Department of Transportation, which is the government. All right, it is a revenue for them, and they take it to the max. So the more drivers they get out there, the more tickets they get to give, the more buildings they get to build, the more money they get to get in for taxes. It's just a big old nice nightmare, and we're just out here being the pawns in their little game. So it is what it is. If we're gonna play, we gotta play, and hopefully no more people lose their lives like that. Maybe they'll take training a little bit more serious now. But guys, that's my opinion on it, and I hope y'all see it the same way. If you got any questions, just leave a comment down in the comments below, and we'll talk it out. And I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, but I'm gonna go in here and spend some more time with my family. So guys, I'll see you later. Don't forget to leave a comment and hit the subscribe button, and definitely hit the thumbs up button.